Chuck, there's a ton of new things going on in Need for Speed Underground 2. Let's go through the laundry list. What's up with the cars?
There's lots of them. There's 30 cars in the game. I can't really talk about which ones are in the game yet because we haven't signed all the licenses. But what I can tell you is it's going to be a broader collection of cars than we had last year. Last year we concentrated mostly on the tuner segment, and for anybody who's sort of been paying attention to what sort of evolved in the tuner culture over the last years, it's gotten a little bit broader, right? So you see things like Pimp My Ride on MTV and other things like that. And I think what's happened is the culture sort of expanded. So our car set will reflect that this year. So it'll be a wider variety of cars in the game.
And you could do a lot more with the cars this time around too, right?
Yeah, not only can you do performance upgrades and visual upgrades to the car, but you can also do performance tuning on the car. It was one of the biggest things that consumers asked for after last year's game. So this year we actually allow you to go in and do just about the same amount of tuning on your car performance-wise as we did last year with the visual aspects of the car. So, but that being said, we're not just tailoring it towards the gearheads. There'll still be the kits and packages for people like myself who aren't as quite as up on cars as I should be, but I can put those kits and packages on my car and my car will perform better. Now, if you're more of a gearhead, you can actually get in there and tune individual parts on the car, and there'll be over 20 different areas of the car that you can affect performance on. Not only can you do that, but then you can save out those different performance packages to reflect the different types of racing that you like. So if you want your car, if you want to create a performance package for drifting, go ahead and do that, save it out when you go into a drifting race, and you can apply that to your car and get that special performance. Conversely, you can save something out for drag or one of the other modes in the game as well.
So if you're one of those people who's not in tune with the tuning market, what are the basic categories you can customize your car in?
Well, all the visual performance areas, just like last year, so front bumper, rear bumper, spoilers, we'll actually be able to allow you to go inside the car this year and tune the audio for your car, so that's brand new. Things like roof scoops and hoods and carbon kits, as well as wheels. Those are visual aspects of the car that you can tune. That's just a few of them. Performance-wise, you can go in and tune brakes and suspension and acceleration on the car, do weight reduction, things like that. So there are over 50 different performance areas that you can tune on the car.
Probably the biggest difference in this game from its predecessor is the track design and the world design. Can you describe that for a bit?
Yeah, it's probably the biggest feature of Underground 2, and that's the open world environment. So to give you some context, last year Underground 1 took place in one city environment, but what happened was all the tracks were loaded and they were interconnected. So you wind up driving over different parts of tracks on different race events, but you couldn't drive from anywhere to anywhere. This year it's a complete open environment, and to give you a sense of scale, last year we had about 40 kilometers of track in the game. This year we've got over 200 kilometers of track in the game, and as you saw in the demo today, it was you can go for quite a long time and drive anywhere in the game. So any road that you see, you can actually drive on. There are 5 distinct areas of the world that you can drive in, and they're all connected by a pretty extensive freeway system. So there is a lot more to do this year inside the game, and a lot of the fun of it is just driving around and exploring everything, because not everything is shown to the player when they start the game. So it's more of a non-linear environment, and although you will see some shops and some events on the map when you start, the gist of the game is you have to go out and explore and find out where everything is going on. So just like when you move to a new city, you kind of see all the things that that the tourist might see. But as you live there and as you get to know the city, you start to find out about restaurants and clubs and other things that just a casual observer doesn't see. And that's the same way the Underground 2 plays. Is when you get in there, the depth of the game comes from the fact that you go and explore and you find all these different areas of the world. You find different shops and different events, and you talk to other players inside the world, and you get information that wouldn't be available to a player who doesn't do that.
You'll also need to master different kinds of driving styles in this game. What are some of the different kinds of races and styles you'll encounter?
Well, we're bringing back all the modes from last year. We got really good response in those, and we're adding additional drift events and drag events and circuits and sprints and things like that. One of the new events that we're adding that we can talk about today is the Outrun event. And that really takes advantage of the open world environment, because that's an organic event that can happen at any time. So while I'm driving around, while I'm driving around in the world, what I see on the road is, besides seeing traffic cars, I'll actually see other tuner cars driving around as well. What I can do is I can go up to one of those guys, match speed with them, or conversely, he can do the same thing to me, and he can send me an instant message that says, let's do an outrun race. What happens is the race instantly starts, and we're off and going. And what it is, it's a follow the leader type race. So the goal of the race is for me to put 300 meters between me and the guy who's following me. Or conversely, if he's ahead of me, I got to get in front of him and then put 300 meters between us. So it's a back and forth race that can take place anywhere in the world. And what happens is, the larger the world is that's open to you, the farther you've gotten in the game, the longer those races can take. So we've had some outrun races that can run in excess of 20 minutes just because the AI is very difficult, and they can be going anywhere in the world. So you not only have to be familiar with the world, but you have to be familiar with your opponent and know the right times to make the move and the right times to lag back. And so it becomes pretty intense, and it's a neat new mode. And what is great about that mode as well is if I beat that guy, not only do I get money or get respect from him, but I also get information that can lead me to other things inside the world. So if I beat him, I might get a message from him that says, hey, my buddy owns a parts shop, and for the next 25 minutes, I'll give you 50% off all the parts in the store if you can get there within 3 minutes. So it's really a breadcrumb system, and the only way that the player is going to discover everything inside the world is by interacting with everything inside the world.
The saucy Burke is in the game as Rachel. What does she do? What's her deal?
She's really taking the place of the character Samantha from last year. Just to give some context without giving too much away yet, at the beginning of Underground 2, you're forced to leave Underground 1 city for circumstances that we can't discuss yet. You come to this new city, and Rachel is a cousin of Samantha, and she now becomes your mentor. She actually plays a bigger role in the game than Sam did last year, and you'll see a lot more of her, and the way she interacts with you is really integral to finishing the game, and she's actually going to expose you to a new mode of gameplay that'll be quite different and quite new, and I think it'll be pretty exciting for the player. So she's a big part of the game. We're really excited to have her.
So Need for Speed Underground 1 was a really huge success last year. What overall do you hope to accomplish with the sequel?
I think the biggest thing for us was that we wanted to make a true sequel. I think what you find, and I'm a gamer as much as I am a developer, and I play everything that comes out, and what disappoints me most is when a game ships one year and then the next year they rush something out and they call it version 2, and it's really a 1.2 or 1.5. And I think because we started development on this before we ever shipped Underground 1, we were able to get enough time to actually build a true sequel. And I think that what we showed you guys today with a demo of the open world goes to show that it's not just more of the same thing. It's actually a new experience. While keeping all the things that are familiar to the player and the things that they liked about the game, we're now putting in a different context that it gives them more variety, more opportunity to really explore that whole tuner culture.
So what online features will Need for Speed Underground 2 have?
The biggest announcement we have that came out recently is the fact that we're going to be Xbox Live this year, which is new for EA, and it's new for the Need for Speed franchise. Outside of that, we'll also be online on the PS2 and the PC. We are planning on having LAN play on PC this year, which is brand new. And then outside of that, everything that you can play offline in the game, you'll be able to play online. And I think the thing that we're looking most forward to is the fact that online you'll be able to play against other humans in this wide open, expansive world environment. So we'll get into more online modes later on the closer we get to the shipping time, but for right now I think those are the biggest things that we want to talk about.
Great. Chuck, the game's looking fantastic. I can't wait to learn more about it.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.